people working in these rooms. So not to freak everybody out, but basically it's basically a view on an overview of the QUBE world that we have, and some of the spaces within it. So we just thought we'd so you get to see that big picture view just while we're kind of getting everybody in that's going to be with us in the demo today. So this is our World Cafe, and we use this for kind of setting up some of the festival stuff. We didn't use the space in the end, but we put a lot of the stuff that we were going to use in terms of some of the sessions with the, and again, we might use it in future for things like the apprenticeships. So go and talk to the apprenticeship leads and go and find out more about particular things. And we can also have breakout sessions in terms of learning and development in specific areas, or regional networking, things like that. So that World Cafe, which is the outdoor space, would be really kind of helpful for some of that stuff in terms of development of the project profession. You might want to re-loop that one, Mike. So how many have we got? 19? Let's assume we've kind of got everybody. So we'll actually just talk through this before we go into QUBE. So this is our overview of QUBE, and this is part of the World Cafe part of it. And all of those tables and chairs are all like breakout areas. They're sound zones. So if you go sit at a chair with some, sit at a table or sit on a chair, it's the sound zone. So it mutes the sound around you. So you're having a private conversation. So it's really good for kind of networking. And we're planning on using it for the project community to be able to get together, particularly the apprentices. This is my office in QUBE, and this is about how we're sort of doing some coaching and training using the kind of, because it's built on an innovation and project delivery kind of methodology. A lot of the training that we do is around project training in here using the tools that are in QUBE, and it's really good for fast-paced kind of planning and change and workshopping stuff. This is our learning center. And so we tend to run a lot of learning sessions in there, and we'll go in there shortly so you can see what we do in there. But also you can have learning cohorts working on particular things together. And what we're planning to do with the apprentices is to get each of the apprenticeship cohorts in here to do action learning sets, reflective practice in terms of their project management training. And we can use the project management tools in here to help embed that learning and also share the experiences. And because it's unlike, say, Teams, it exists 24/7, so it's just there, and anything in there just remains there. So that learning opportunity is kind of very kind of individual. So you can kind of come and go as you please. You can work independently in terms of your learning. You can do coaching with people. You can do team sessions and planning and delivery of training, which is what we mostly use it for, and also project delivery using the tools in here. Again, this is part of the World Cafe, so these are all breakout areas. There's also there's a lawn area with a big screen. So where we're doing some work around development of the profession, we can come together and do some of the training and development in here around it. So that's the video that shows you a kind of big picture view of the HE QUBE campus. But what we'll do now is we'll actually go into QUBE and we'll show you it in practice. And so, Mike, are you going to show the first bit, or am I?
Yeah, no, I'll do that, Joe, and then we can. In fact, it would make sense if you did it, wouldn't it? Because at least then we're not having to fiddle on with screens.
Okay, so one of the things that we do in QUBE, if I share it with you, so I head at the corporate portfolio office in HQ. Hello.
Hello.
Who was that? Have you got a question? Are you okay?
Perhaps he was speaking to someone outside of the meeting.
So I head up the corporate portfolio office. I'm also head of project profession for HE. And in terms of working on the development of the project profession and also training and development in project management, we've been using this for individual training events, innovation events, and also specific delivery of projects for 5 years now. So this obviously predates COVID, but also because we do a lot of work across the NHS, across the whole of England, because we're working with regions and people in different parts of the country, it was a way for us to be able to use the tools to help to develop and deliver the program, but also learn and embed the training around it at the same time. So this is our team space, so the portfolio office team space. Love the bean bags. Those are great. That's the sound zone. You can go and sit and have a chat with somebody and hang out. There is a penny farthing in the middle of the room. You can sit on the penny farthing. There's also breakout areas. So we've got sort of individual areas where people can work on different parts of what we're doing. And I'll show you a bit about that in a minute. But in terms of also planning and delivering training and workshops and stuff, there are also all the tools and templates in here. So this is a course designer, and this is the course designer for the session we are doing right now. So this is what we've planned to do today. And I'm terrible at following plans, so I'll get in trouble for deviating from the plan. At least I know what I should be doing. So in terms of hopes and fears, one of the things we do in terms of a discipline around working together on either learning or developing something is we start at the beginning with hopes and fears. And this is what they call a performance enhancement tool as part of the sort of project delivery methodology and innovation methodology in this virtual learning environment. And there's about 400 of them, and they're always growing. And effectively, there is a whole set of development frameworks that can help you deliver the change you want to, but also help to deliver training and facilitation. So here we have things that we want to get out of this, that we learn something new and innovative, seen as a people solution, that it's about learning and development of people engaging. There's lots of good questions. We hope you've got lots of good questions about this and what you want to find out about, that we have some fun. Lots of questions get asked. Participants have the opportunity to ask. And again, everybody, there's the really good thing about QUBE, it's very democratic. Because it's not just one person talking like we're doing now, everybody can do at the same time. So what we start with is we start by doing, and then we kind of review it. So everybody puts up all the things that they want to get out of it. And then you kind of talk through it. So fears for the session. So there's a fear that the jokes aren't going to be funny, and there's going to be tumbleweed moments. Lose internet connection. If my husband has got Netflix on, it could get a bit wobbly. We run out of time because I always talk too much and overrun. We don't showcase QUBE at its best, and you miss the kind of real value of it, and that's the fear we have, that there are no difficult questions. So direct all of your difficult questions to Tam, because she's the one that put that one up there. And that somebody might have sound issues.
Which I think you have at the moment, Joe. It's doing that.
Is it doing that weird sound thing again?
It is, yeah. I'll take over whilst you're going through that. Yeah, so as Joe said, we've been using this for about 5 years now, and it's transformed and innovated the way we do things and the way we think about things and the way we work collaboratively. So you'd only spend 5-10 minutes on this, which is what we've just done now. But you can imagine with more than 4 of us in here today, how quickly you can fill that up. And some of this information can be used to share, to inform your agenda, inform your approach, and think about things that perhaps are troubling people at the moment. So it's really sort of working through live, current issues and barriers. Joe, you there?
Yep. Can you hear me? How's
yeah,
that?
lovely. That's
okay.
Great.
Marvelous. So whoever put the sound issues up, that should have been me. And one of the things we do is where we've got groups in here on the top right hand side, it's got a list of who's in the room. Now we've got our sound turned off in the room because we've got it on in Teams. But what we would do is we would all kind of talk and chat and just as if we were in a normal space. But we'd also facilitate so that we would work our way through to get everybody's feedback. Work first and then review and get people's thoughts and ideas. So it's about ways of working that's about collaborative and innovative as well. So I don't think we've done introductions of everybody, but we'll introduce Tam when she does her bit, but Tam was the innovations lead for NSS, National Services Scotland, working in the NHS, but she's also a QUBE tutor and facilitator, and does a lot of other amazing innovation stuff as well around sort of neuroscience, Lego serious play, coaching, so she's going to show you that bit of it. Anne-Marie is a program manager. She is leading on the Nursing 50,000 program, and she'll show you how she and her team are using it for their learning and development, but also for their program planning in here, because it's really good for kind of rough planning and the sort of workshopping of stuff that you really need to do. I'm going to just quickly show you. So one of the things that we use it for is sort of team planning. And again, it's everybody contributing to it. So this was a brain dump last week of all the things that we think we need to do in the coming year. And all the colours are all the people who have put that up there. So everybody's contributed to it. And what we'll do next is we will chunk it up and we will put it into grouping in terms of prioritise it in terms of what's the most important, that's the most value, and what's the kind of easiest and least effort to do. And that allows us to prioritise our activity. So Mike mentioned that we've been using it for 5 years. If we go back to sort of where we were, where we started with this was actually an innovation project. And what we did was we had some innovation leads. This is now, we're now moved to my office where I do my kind of planning and coaching. And I've personalized it a bit as well. So that's then unfortunately the dogs aren't with me anymore. The actual space has outlived the dogs who were 12 or 13. And also that's the view out of my window. Well, it would be the view out of my window if I stood on a chair and opened the Velux window and peered out. But since that's a lot of effort, I put it on the wall in here so I could actually see the view a bit more easily. And so this is kind of my space. And again, you know, for me to be able to look at prioritizing and chunking up the big pieces of work that we're doing and use the tools to help to structure that. Rapid is planning. So you break it down into who's doing what and when. And also then we've got things like 5Ps, so aligning people around purpose in terms of who's doing what. So it's really good if you're project management and you're looking at not just working on project delivery, but using workshopping tools for project management that we don't seem to have. So we've got PM3, which manages our programs and projects, which is about a way of putting the discipline in place and the controls in place. But it's not the bit that actually does the workshopping stuff where you get together and you brain dump and you structure and plan it. But also, I do a lot of career coaching and project management coaching for people. So I won't zoom in on that because you'll see people's names. But what it allows me to do then is to capture and manage the kind of coaching of project professionals, so whether career coaching or professional coaching to support them. And that's some of the things we want to do with, say, the apprentices, is to do some coaching in here with them to support them with their development, and also to build a group of coaches in here to support that. We also do some training and planning of training. So currently got doing a 3-hour session with the HE Fellows next week on the basics of project management. So this is the 5 Ps outlines the principles of what we're going to deliver as part of that, and then the course designer breaks down that 3-hour session into a planned training program.
Joe, sorry to interrupt you. Just had a question there. Could you show how to set up a whiteboard and just
absolutely.
add a sticky, please?
Okay.
Let's show that process.
So QUBE demo, new whiteboard. What we'll put is sticky steps. So I've save all of the pets, and they're also on here in terms of the library. So you can just kind of drag them and add them and say, you know, what's the purpose of this? Awareness of virtual work spaces and not just. And what's the outcome? So, well, we hope it inspires people to think and work differently.
Is there an opportunity to change the wallpaper in your room, Joe? I don't think there's quite a couple of people not keen on your choice of decoration.
The new spaces have actually got better decor, I have to say. There's been the decorators have been in, not in my room, although we probably could change it. But I've had this for 5 years now. It all needs a bit of updating. If we go back to the other room, it's one of the modern spaces. There's some kind of sort of like loft spaces. There's places that people can work. In fact, Tam could probably show us one of those. So yeah, it used to have. So Professor Eddie Obeng, who runs the virtual business school, it looks like the building in which they run it, which is some I think it's Georgian mansion house that they've got their offices in. And so you go in some of the rooms and there's chandeliers and fireplaces. And luckily he's been doing a bit of a modernising, so the new rooms are a bit more 21st century. So I will. Let me just go back. So I think we kind of covered a bit in terms of, so as a team, we work in here and we do some of our planning. Now this is a new room because we filled the old room with some of last year's team working. But what it does is it allows us to come in. We have, because somebody switched off the catch-up board, it had all of our team hopes and fears. We meet as a team 2 mornings a week for half an hour. We have a catch up in terms of what's happened in the last couple of days. Everybody posts up from, the project support officer to, the head of the team. Everybody posts up all the things that are going on. And they also post up what's happening in the next couple of days. And then we have a quick run through and say, okay, what's going on? Because that's a really quick and easy way of keeping up with what's happening in the team. We don't need to wait a month to find out what people have been up to. And that's really good for making connections and going, oh, you've talked to so-and-so over there about that. That'd be really great. I need to talk to them about this. So it's ways of working. It's really quick and iterative. And that for me is where a lot of the value is, particularly in this very volatile and fast-paced world we're in now. So none of this is really formal. It's really quick and easy way to kind of capture stuff and to work really rapidly. So speaking of which, I will stop talking and pass on now to Anne-Marie's next. She's going to tell you a little bit about the work that she's been doing with her team, the Nursing 50,000 programme.
I'm just going to share my screen. So I'm quite new to HEE. Well, just over a year and 3 days to be precise. Can you see that okay?
Yep, that's fine. Can see that. Do you want to tell them where you are? Just go back a bit and see so you got a bit of perspective.
Sorry, just a sec. Okay, so I'm in my cubicle. So this belongs to me. So I can do my own planning here, but we also have a cubicle specifically for the extra 50,000 nurses. And we do have cubicles for a lot of the other programs within our suite of programs. So you can see how messy it is. If I take you over to,
you make a mess.
It's my office. So this is my hopes and fears board, because I was doing some training with Tam around this. And one of the aspects of me doing this training was to try and make it sticky, meaning to make QUBE a habit. So I do come into QUBE every morning around about 7:30, 8 o'clock. Not saying that you'll have to do that, of course, but that helps me to set my day up. So what I do is I reflect on what I've done yesterday and plan what I'm going to do today. And you can actually be as honest as you like. Like most days I put, woohoo, I'm back in QUBE. I've come back, yay. So, and then the way that I did it is actually to just put my dates on. But those at the top is because, as Joe said, my board filled up. So I've just pulled them all up. But
you can just take snapshots of them and keep them.
Yeah,
you can. You can take snapshots of all of this. And that's how we share stuff at the end
Absolutely.
of the session. Take a snapshot, post it up, share it with everybody.
So if I go and show you, so that's my hopes and fears board. And we also do rapids. So I actually do a rapid for myself as well. And you can theme them. So we can, I can set my priorities for that day. But we also do this regularly as a team as well. And on that, I will take you to my whiteboard. And actually, before we go close up to the whiteboard, you can see all of the different themes that I have. So I actually, that's about framing the program, and then doing more detailed analysis around stakeholders, and there's all pets around that as well. So you can actually think out of the box, I suppose. So then we're planning for our new team, because we've just recently got quite a number of new team members. So that's helping me plan. That's my own work performance learning. So I'm actually doing a course at the moment, and so I come in and I plan my course through this. So if I've got an assignment, I can come in and do, and because there's like reports, so you can just be as detailed or as not as you like. And this was my favourite. I actually got a gold star from Tam on this one. Are you ready for this? This was really good. So this was me doing my, so I had a quiz, because all of the icons within QUBE, and I got 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10.
How did you manage to get the extra point?
Bravo.
That was for actually doing my homework on time.
So, I never do that. Well done, you.
But again, as Joe said, because I'm a line manager to members of my team, I also do coaching sessions in here. So I plan for my coaching sessions with my team as well. And again today, so because I knew I was coming on here to talk about this, I've actually pre-prepared and completely impressed the team.
Yeah,
so yeah. So really, if I could just give a summary of what QUBE has done for me and my team, and it's actually quite amazing, but I'll talk you through it anyway. So this is how you could prepare for if you had a session around something that you needed to share with a wider team. So I'm going to spend just a couple of minutes talking about my QUBE journey. So from my perspective, and actually I sought some feedback from the team as well, is the leap of learning that we've achieved in the last 12 months has just been phenomenal, because the programs that we're working on are in full sight of the Department of Health and the Cabinet Office. Number 10, we quite regularly get direct commissions from number 10. So this platform has really helped us to do that. And that's all happened just within 1 year. I officially started working for HEE in the Nursing and Midwifery Director on the 16th of April. Right, I've put that wrong way around, but you know, we can make mistakes. So because I knew Jo in a past life, we had a cheating session where she'd walked me through QUBE beforehand. However, my first official QUBE session was with, oh, I've made that big look. I'm not selling it, am I? So my first QUBE session was a drum beat. And these are particularly good because we can set these up with your team. And they're about 15 minutes to half hour. And that's a fast-paced planning session about your project. But because it's around particularly what you need to talk about, what you need to do, it's actually really, really useful. And during the drum beats, we use things like the hopes and fears pet that you've just seen. And the purpose of the hopes and fears pet is it helps you to focus on what you're doing, what do you want out of it, how you're going to do it, and what's going to come next. From there, we started to actually try and plan in detail the work. And to do this, we use the sticky steps. So the sticky steps help you to identify what kind of project you're in. And we actually realised that we were in the fog, which means that I suppose if you have to say it in an objective way, we knew what we wanted to do, but we were actually lost. So we didn't know how we were going to get there. So that was a really good thing, because the pets that you use, so like the sticky steps, etc., it unblocks your mind to start to think about, well, we're here, we're in the fog. So what do we need to do to get out of the fog? And because you're on it with your team, it actually helps you all to think in a similar way. Key note is even though I've been here for just over a year, I've never met physically any member of my team yet. The only person I've ever met physically is Jo. And even that was about 2 years ago, I think now, actually face-to-face met. So QUBE has really helped in that, building relationships within the team, because through the pets and working through the pets, no idea is wrong. It's not a wrong idea. It is literally just an idea. Because there's no wrong idea, it's actually helped me to bond and build the team. And that's all been possible because we've made it a safe space to actually do that, because nobody's wrong. I think that's the key. That's one of the key learnings for me. That's my comedy moment. Did I say I've not met the team yet? I'm waiting for laughter and not like the you think I might be milking it a bit?
Tumbleweed.
Oh, thanks. Tumbleweed. Thank you.
We'll laugh politely.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the, and again, I know I keep saying this, but one of the main learnings for me around QUBE is it completely eliminates the hierarchy. So it doesn't matter whether you're the SRO, chief executive, or indeed the prime minister. It actually destroys that hierarchy and it gives everybody one voice. Through our journey over the last year, we've all been able to learn and grow together. And to be fair, that learning and growing together has actually then had a secondary impact, where it's actually taking the pressure off the tasks as well. So it's enabled us, it's actually introduced innovation, really, I suppose, in our problem solving. And sometimes, only sometimes, it's introduced comedy moments. Here we go, Tam, do you think it's going to work? Okay. So in one of my first ever QUBE sessions, I was actually stuck on the ceiling in the cubicle for the whole of the session, and actually really stuck. I couldn't get down. I didn't know how to do it. So I wasn't hid behind a TV, so that was okay. I was stuck on the ceiling, and to try and style it out, I blamed Tam, because she was facilitating at the time and she should have dragged me off the ceiling.
So quick lesson for everybody.
My bad.
If you just click on any of the places in the places list on the right hand side, it will just take you to that place. So you would become unstuck from wherever you are.
So like I'll go back to my whiteboard. But it was actually quite funny, because I was pretending to be all sophisticated and knowing what I was doing, and it really backfired.
That's all right. You get some funny moments.
Well, that's it, yeah. So yes, I was stuck on the ceiling, and at that point I was thought about maybe singing a song, but it felt a bit flat in the practice, so I don't reckon I'll go there again, considering I've already had a tumbleweed moment. So, and again, the conclusions of the team. So one of the most brilliant things is starting the new job in lockdown, it being a really difficult programme in so much as the complex and complexities associated with it. QUBE has really unblocked that for us, actually, as a team. And we have got quite formidable relationships now. They're really good. And we're able to be transparent and open and honest. And because of QUBE and because of our general team learning, and not just me as a project manager, but also our higher team. So like my boss, James McLean, who is Deputy Chief Nursing Officer, is using QUBE. He's also joining us in our team training sessions that we're having, which are in QUBE. And it's about Lego serious play, and we're doing neuroscience, and the team are absolutely, it's pushing against an open door. They're loving it. It's just unblocked all of that, learning blocking. Okay. And again, the other thing, the biggest learning is you can practically do whatever you want in QUBE. You can literally do whatever you want. And because it's very pictorially as well, and it's less talky, even though I'm talking, it's more about doing, that you generally do get more done. If you want, I could show you our 50K cubicle, so you can see the amount of stuff that's in there as well that we do. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, I'm on. There we go.
So that list of cubicles is all of the places in the HE campus. So all the different rooms and spaces, and it all models from like very small spaces, so like my office, so a few people working together, through to the World Cafe. And you can have up to something like 400 people in the World Cafe at the same time. So if you're wanting to do some like really big networking, World Cafe events, effectively all that collaboration stuff, and connecting, chat, and networking, it'd be great for that. Which is why we're considering using it for as part of the next festival, because we could effectively do the festival in there. But it takes a little bit of effort in terms of getting people on board and orientated and using it. So it's one of those things. If you're planning to do something over a long period of time, like a program or a course, it's really good for that, because there's a space in here called orientation, and it's basically QUBE driving school, and it helps you to learn how to do basic things in here. So yeah, Molly's just asked a question about access. You can lock spaces, so you can lock them so that only certain people are allowed in there, and you can make them private. But also you can separate them out. So we're planning on having apprenticeship spaces that are going to be outside of the HE Teams workspaces, but it'll be in the same server, so people will be able to move between the campuses.
Yeah. I'm just moving back. But again, we've got, and this is our team space. So we come in as a team, and we're able to put things. We can drop presentations in. So we can direct drop presentations. Let's look. We share files if we need to. But the benefit is, if you're on this one, so the whiteboard as well, is we've done that. That's a sticky step. So it's saying where are we? We were stuck. We're in a blocker. So in order to get to where we want it to be, how do we get there? So in order to have 50,000 nurses, we must have our must do. And it's just that breaking it down that's actually brilliant. And all of those pets there, that's our library. So we can just pull across, as Joe was saying. So we can just pull them across and use them as we need to. These are all bits that we've done previously outside of QUBE that now we've brought in, and you can see that those presentations are just there stuck on the wall, because actually this was more value.
I think also because I think everybody here came from the festival, and therefore that was about project capability and development. All of the tools in here are structured around project management, change management, and innovation. And so what you have is we have effectively methodologies in here. So project types, and then the tools and the pets are linked to what kind of project you are going to deliver. Now it's slightly different from the usual kind of Agile or Prince2 or MSP. It's looking at how complex is it. So we have a view between what is a painting by numbers project. So that's one that's known, it's repeatable, it's quite simple and logical. And at the other end, we've got a foggy project. And a foggy project is you don't know where you're trying to get to, you don't know how you're going to get there, but you can't stay here. And so a lot of the methodology that links to that in processes allows you to work through that in a kind of logical, structured way. And that's all about looking at stakeholder engagement and understanding the problem and creating a shared vision. So the tools have a very logical project delivery structure underneath them as well. And I found that invaluable for it, to be honest. I've just started a new OD program that's very foggy and very complex. So, and it's helping me work through it in a very logical and structured way.
Yeah. It's really unblocked some of the thinking for us as a team. And like I say, it is in that safe space.
So, should we move on to the Learning Lab and look at what we're doing in terms of learning and development?
Sounds good, Joe. Yeah.
Okay, Tam.
Yeah.
With
so
you in the space.
do you want to share screen and I'll zip around?
Let's do that.
So I will. I'm just going to drag Joe because I have superpowers.
Yes. Yeah, which is really handy. If you ever have a workshop and you're trying to corral people and it's really hard because they're wandering off all over the place, in here you can kind of drag them about.
And so that is some of the training that we do on QUBE, is learning how to facilitate in this space. So this is one of our workshop spaces. You can see up on the big screen here, we are running, as Anne-Marie said, we're doing a neuroscience for managing change course just now. So that's our slide set up there, just as you would in a kind of traditional space. Over on this side, which is where we're doing all of the work. So we're doing some instruction, and then we're putting people into groups. And you can see there's these kind of barriers. These are sound barriers, which I, as a facilitator, again, I can move around. So we can have everyone talking to everyone, or we can bring them up and you can go off into your group activities as you would in a traditional workshop space. And we've got, you know, just set things up. So you click on your name, and it will take you over to your group where you need to be. So I'll not zoom in too much. This program is a 6-module program, and we're using Lego Serious Play as part of it. So we've got cameras up here, so you can put your camera on and share that screen. So as people are doing the Lego models, they're able to share on screen the models. And then we've got some activities on the boards where we're capturing answers to questions once we've done some of the learning. So it's all built up as a fully designed program, and you can see on the left, I'll just get rid of that, we've got all of these different boards that are the different modules of the program. If I bring us over to this board, this is where we would do a lot of the teaching, and you can see again there's lots of stickies, or it's all set up to deliver the course. We have things like polls, so I can ask, I probably should do this at the end, but Joe, you can vote for everybody on the call.
So
how good is the session? Brilliant. So you can do quick polls, get people's feedback, set things up really, really easily and quickly to do that. We've got over here, we've got a drawing board. So if you want into, some people like to draw when they're teaching, we can draw things, and it's collaborative, so you can get people to add to it. So there's lots of things like that we can do. We quite often, for a bit of fun, get people drawing an elephant in collaboration, and it never looks like an elephant. We have a learning board over here. I'm just going to back up a bit. I don't want to share too much of that because it's part of the program. But after every session, we do something called Learn by Sharing. If I just put up a new
really
one.
Really valuable, actually, that one.
Really valuable for teaching, because quite often it's not until we do the reflection that we get the insights from the learning. So doing this regularly through a training program and coming back to it at the end, really, really important to embed that learning. We have over here, we've got a list of activities. So this is for me and Tibby, who I'm leading with. So after a session, we'll come up with the actions we need to do as facilitators. So everything's in it. Oh, and the other thing, actually, just very quickly, we have a course designer over here. So again, everything's in this space. Me and Tibby know what the design for the course is, the program. So if we forget where we are in something, we can just zip over and have a look. So it's all inclusive. And then we've got these tables, which are just brilliant for networking. They're in sound zone, so people can sit and have one-to-one or one-to-two chats in little groups while we're getting warmed up, and you get a buzz from the sound. So although they're in sound zones and you can't hear them, you can hear a little bit of background noise. So when you've got 20 or 30 people in here, you get a real sense of being in the same place as people, which you can move around, you can jump in and out of different conversations, but you get that kind of vibrancy that you would get in a real world space. So it feels very much like you're in this space. I'm going to stop there because we've had lots of, and just see if anyone's got any questions on this as a workshop learning space, learning environment.
Yeah, there was a question from Craig actually, just around, you showed it a moment ago, having the boards already up, so the course is ready there for people to participate in. Do you find that there's a risk people just rush ahead and start putting stuff on there? And if they do, is that a good thing, bad thing? What's your thoughts on that?
It depends what it is. If, as a facilitator, if people are in the wrong place or they've jumped ahead into a sound zone and can't hear me, I can pull them back. So that's part of the training that we do when you come onto QUBE. We teach you some of those tools so that you can manage people in the room, just as you would in a normal workshop
traditional
space.
sense.
If someone's gone off and they're playing away in the corner, you would bang your glass and just ask everyone to listen and pay attention. So we've got all of those techniques that we can do, but if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter.
As a participant, though, can I just say, Craig, you soon learn not to do it as a participant, because the minute you go into a sound zone, you suddenly stop hearing the instructions and you go, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing now. So right, quick, back up.
It's also good for, as Anne-Marie says, some of the fun stuff, which I think is a lot harder to do particularly if you don't know people. So if we're having a session with people who don't really know each other, we will just do some daft stuff like putting jigsaws together and having a bit of competition like that. So we've got Sudokus, we've got a whole range of things that just allow you to do that, the softer stuff, icebreakery type stuff in a fun way, which just relaxes everyone.
During lockdown as a team, we've done a whole load of games in QUBE as a team, just so that we could get together and do stuff. We figured out, you know, the chunk it pet, which is around prioritizing. We realized you can use that as a Connect 4 board.
Oh, so we did. Yeah, we had Connect 4 games.
All you need is two sets of coloured Post-it notes, and you take it in turns, putting them in the squares. It's brilliant.
Snakes and ladders. Josh has just pointed out.
Ladders.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a question from Massimo. Well, it's a sort of question from Massimo here. Can you show us how to create a pet from the library, and where the library is for pets?
It's just, can you point to it on yours? Can you open it on your screen, Joe? Because so there's just the little icons at the bottom. There's one for the pet library. So if you know what you're looking for, you just start to type in. Again, part of the training of QUBE is knowing what some of the tools are. So the more you use it, the more you get to know them. There's probably about 20 that we use really regularly for project planning. So sticky steps, gap loop. So once you know those, you can just type that into that little search box and you just drag it onto the screen. It's really so everything's there. You don't have to go and get things from other places. Everything's already there for you.
The other thing you can do is, if you can see on the right hand side of my screen, I've got the list of people. So that shows you the people who are effectively online in QUBE. There's some actions so that you can send notes, you can chat with everybody. So I could send a chat to anybody that's in QUBE. You can move around, but also in terms of the places, you can move around those. But down here on the right hand side, there's a little like a little wheelie carrier thing, and this is my inventory. So when I find a useful pet, I save it to my inventory. So if we look at the, in fact, I don't think I've got one of the hopes and fears. So if I right click on the hopes and fears and then copy to my inventory, it will suddenly appear in my inventory. And then if I want to put it onto a new board somewhere, I just drag and drop it. So I tend, and it shows you what they are, so which makes it a bit easier. You go, oh, that's that one. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for.
I think
so this is about benefits management. This one.
There's approximately about 300 or 400 pets, isn't there? Is that about right? Yeah. And I've been using it for, well, I joined HE 3 years ago, and I'm comfortable using at least sort of 15 to 20. I don't need to know them all. Tam and others in a team are there to support the use of it and when to use it, when it's appropriate, and how to get the most from that pet. Just picking up Vicky's question about how do you make sure participants know how to use QUBE in order to navigate their way around. I'll add a bit of personal experience from that, because I've supported the widening participation team at HE. I did a series of orientation and navigation sessions. They were only 20 minutes. We did it Monday to Thursday during lunch. People brought a snack. Recorded them for those that couldn't attend, and each session was just a layering up of people's understanding of the environment, how to walk around, the pets that Joe's showing here, how to access them. So it gives you a description on what it is, when to use it, and get the most out of that. So it is a bit of a layering up, but what we tend to say is sort of 3 strikes and you're in. You know, a couple of sessions, 3 sessions, and you'll get used to it. It's one of the things I found really strange was actually the closer you get to someone, the louder they become. Oh yeah. So that threw me for a second. Just like in a real room, you go in a workshop and you go and chat to someone. So it's just like that.
This is the back of my head at the moment, because I've zoomed back so that you can see it from behind. But if you look, if I move my cursor up to the top left, the head and the eyes follow the cursor. How cool is that? And you can also, let me turn to Tam. Are you still following me? Oh, there you are. But also, you know, we do a lot of what we call gather in a circle, which is where you then sort of meet and chat and stuff, and you can jump up and down, sort of nod and. So when we do sort of workshop sessions, we sort of tend to we'll do some teaching. There'll be subject area, and I actually commissioned this for the teams because for me there's a real gap in terms of implementing and embedding change. And for me, there's a lack of understanding around neuroscience and why we need to understand neuroscience to embed change more effectively. So I commissioned Tam and Tibby to create this program to support project and change managers to deliver change more effectively using Lego Serious Play, which is great for modeling. And this is my model of a growth mindset using Lego Serious Play as part of the program. So that's kind of the key things that we wanted to share with everybody in terms of an overview. Can you show how the avatar levitates? Okay, so if you, thanks Massimo. If you, let me move back so you can see the back of my head. If you hold down your space bar, it will shoot up. So this is outside the cube.
Which is how Anne-Marie ended up on the roof and got stuck.
Yeah.
And I was a bad facilitator and didn't notice.
Yeah, part of the training for us is about facilitation skills, whether that's in the real world or in QUBE, because actually we all need to know how to facilitate workshops, particularly with stakeholders, because that's a lot of what we do as project professionals is stakeholder engagement, and it's how you do that as effectively as possible. And that's where some of the learning from the neuroscience comes in, because it's creating the right mental sort of mindset, the right brain chemistry to be open to learning and engaging in change. So this is some of the key things, but we've also got a thing called bird's eye, and bird's eye gives you a bird's eye view of the room. So let's switch.
Yeah, it's just a good question here around the speaker giving a presentation. So if you are speaking, you can put your camera on the big screen, so everyone can see you on the big screen. In terms of reading the room, if I go to, if you put your camera on.
I've got it on in Teams, so
it won't work.
It doesn't like doing it at the same time.
If you can, so if you just join me here,
let me see if I
can you go to view presentation, Joe?
Yeah.
So if I was speaking, that's me at the pedestal at the back. Let's put that up. So you can put that on the screen so you can see the speaker. If you are the speaker, you'll be able to see everybody else. Mm-hmm. So you can see that in fact, yeah, let's swap places. I'm forgetting that. So do you want to, that's it. So if you're the speaker, as Joe is now, you can see me at the back there. So you can see that everyone's looking. You'll be able to see their heads moving because they'll be moving around, pointing to the screen and things like that. So you get a real sense. But because we tend to keep mics on QUBE, this isn't a put everyone on mute. You start to hear things. So you're really tapping in and listening. So you get a better sense. It's hard to describe, but you almost get a better sense of engagement because everyone's listening properly and articulating themselves much better rather than relying on the social cues. So that really builds up, and it doesn't feel like you're talking to an empty room at all, which on when you're doing something on Teams and everyone's on mute and there's no cameras, you are just talking to a blank space. You don't get that. You get the sense of talking to people.
Yeah, we actually encourage people to have their mics on because the sound is much more natural. It doesn't cut each other off. It's, I don't know, it sort of flows a bit better. We find it a little bit clunky in here, but some of it's what you're used to as well.
There's a question from Marianne about how long can you effectively engage with people in this environment for. My personal experience is I've never done any session longer than sort of 2-3 hours. It is a different way of working. It does require some preparation and planning, as it would do in any traditional sense for a workshop, for example. but you tend to do things really quickly, rapid.
Yeah, you
so
actually tend to
what
get
would
through
probably
it a lot quicker.
100%, yeah. So give you an example of that. So before COVID, we used to do tabletop exercises. You know, we've all been to them. You're working your little tables, and someone stands up and presents and does little key findings. This is what we found, and you'd probably spend what 25-30 minutes on those. You spend half the time in QUBE doing that, and you'd get a much richer source of information and things to work from. So it's really quick, which is why you can feel a little tired afterwards.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take long to
concentration.
It is.
I've done a couple of 3-hour sessions. In fact, I've done it in QUBE. It's a postgrad project management group at a university, and I did it in QUBE, but also I did effectively more or less the same one using Teams and Mural because they couldn't get into QUBE. And I have to say that was tricky because you had to use the breakout areas, the rooms in in Teams, and the time lag between people coming and going and you joining them and then coming out again, that was quite clunky. Whereas with this, because we can turn on the just like the partitions in the room, moving in and out was actually much quicker and much more efficient. Okay, so last couple of minutes. Any other key questions? Stick your hands up, shout out. We've done a lot of talking. We want to hear from folks. Anything that you've got any key questions about? If people are interested in the sort of model for the sort of costing model that goes with using it, it's very different. It's not an IT product to say where it's cost per user license. It's actually the time that you're paying for is the facilitation and training. So we as a team use it all day, every day for a lot of the planning that we do and the work that we do collaboratively. But I have a coaching session with Tam, which is helping me in terms of coaching around this major, OD program, because it's again having some of that fresh pair of eyes and coaching on how to do it slightly differently. So and also it includes, say, team training and some of the key learning that we do around, say, well, not the neuroscience, but Lego Serious Play. So we've had team regular training sessions, and it's because it's a business school, effectively virtual business school. It's a learning environment, and that what you're paying for is somebody's time to do it. So you have to have an idea of what you want to do, and an outcome you want to achieve, and then you can look at how do you create an offering that provides you with the outcome you want to achieve. That's really the starting point with it.
Vicky's asked if there's an opportunity to sit in on some live sessions to get a feel for it.
The thing about sitting in on it is getting in and doing it. I'm sure we can set up a sort of a workshop for people that are interested where and the thing is, we're doing this around the project profession and development of the project profession, which is what the festival is really about, and how we build project professional skills. So I think if we're going to get people in to experience it, then we want them to do something practical and engage with it in something that will add value. So we're doing some planning and preparation for the next sort of community day, which is going to be 24th of May, 25th of May.
25th.
25th.
Yeah.
Get the date right, Joe. And so maybe there's something we can do around getting people engaged with some of the content of that and work on that. So, and again, some of the things about it is if we get onboarded with it, then it's about what do you want to do with it. So does anybody have any particular things you go, oh, that looks like something I could really use for a particular thing we're working on, or as a team, or you've got problems because you're spread all over the place, or let's have a look. There's the cubicle for the events and conferences. So we're planning. Well, we did all the planning for the festival in QUBE, but also for the follow-up days, we've created a new space so that we can plan out each of the days going forward. So maybe we can get you involved in some of the planning for that. How would that be?
Yeah, we'll yeah, looks like Vicky will be up for that one. Thanks, Vicky. Yeah, so I'll link with you on that one.
Crabes and orientation. Hi, Craig.
No, thanks, Anne-Marie. Yeah, very interesting. Some great comments. A lot of curiosity and.
You're all very quiet though. Don't you want to actually ask any out loud questions? Go on, be brave.
So you don't get to be quiet on QUBE.
No.
No. Oh, we have a hand raised by the looks of it.
Excellent. Go for it, Vicky.
Yeah, I think it looks amazing. I'm starting to see or to get some ideas as to how it might be used. Being involved in that planning session would be great, because I kind of need to really see it to understand then how I can apply it. So yeah, that would be great. But yeah, really interesting different way of doing it. Like it.
So, and again, some sort of user engagement in the planning and preparation of the community events would be good for us as well. So it'd be a helpful investment of our time, because we're going to have them quarterly. So a one-day event, so more of a workshop type day, and again, looking at what are the kind of key things we need to do and the structure and content of the actual events. We've started to kind of flesh those out. So if we can get your input into an engagement workshop around that and look at what and how we're going to plan each of the days for the rest of the year, that gives us some a useful outcome for the session as well as giving you an opportunity to test it out.
Yeah, great. I'd be happy to do that.
Okay, so unless otherwise specified, I'm assuming everybody on the call would be happy to do that with us. We'll send an invite out to everybody, and that would be great, because it gives us a chance to sort of get everybody involved in some of the planning for the next session, and gives you a chance to experience it. And what we'll do is we'll run the session as a session, and we'll tell you how we structured it as a session and how we're going to use the tools. So, last couple of minutes. Anybody got any more questions? What do you think? Should have run a poll. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like quite a few have had to jump off, and Anne-Marie's having to go for another meeting now. So, but yeah, really positive comments. So
need the loo actually before me.
Oh yeah, definitely use that 2 minutes.
QUBE creates a level of honesty you might not get on Teams.
It does though. It does.
Yeah.
It's been really great. I've enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
great.
Appreciate you sharing what you're doing in here with your team.
See you later.
Thank you. See you later. Bye. And everybody else, we will set up a date for a kind of session in there, and we'll get you involved in doing some of the session planning for the project community events. So that way you get to experience it. Okay. And again, I think we need to also run for a comfort break and more tea before the next meeting. Thank you all for joining us. It's been really lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julianne. Thank you, Craig.
Thanks.
Thank you, Molly.
Bye.
Massimo.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Massimo.
Simon.
Cheers, Craig. Bye, Molly. Bye, Julianne. Simon Edridge.
Recording.
Excellent. Super. Really good. Great session.